Alpha if they don't want to go up against it, because we know Alpha has been quite a prominent figure in the current patch itself. So Rhyme or Alpha can be suitable bans, or they can just keep it for themselves.
Yeah, they obviously could pick Rhyme for themselves, which would make sense for them to ban Cruel now. Cruel does really well against Rhyme, and so it does kind of force a Rhyme ban from Elite 8. But instead, someone we haven't seen at all, like ever in this patch, is Glaive, but it's been banned away by J3X. What do you take from that pick? Do you think that that's something they don't want to play against? Or do you think that's maybe countering the competition they want to run?
Maybe it is a counter, or maybe it's just a direct counter, but we've seen not a lot of plays coming through, not a lot of glaives coming through from J3X, or even the entirety of Vainglory 8, to be quite honest. But we do see the Ozo being banned out, another very, very good hero in this current patch, because of the Aftershock coming through. So we are hearing from iRequest Duo now that they might settle for that Lyra and Saw comp. So just last week itself, I've been talking a lot about Saw. I really want to see a Saw maybe matched with a Reza. Reza just does so well, covers spots that Saw couldn't. But we will not be seeing a Saw, but we will be seeing a Vox coming through, which has been very, very strong and prominent as well in Vainglory 8.
I would have loved to see a Saw being paired with that Lyra. He got a lovely buff to his late game weapon power ratios, so it has been coming through into the meta quite a lot. Still really strong early game, a bit stronger late game. The Vox picked is to deny that away from Elite 8. Vox does really well against Lyra. He doesn't really care that she has healing, because he always builds a Shiv, always gets those mortal wounds applied. So picking it up for themselves does make sense. The Ozo ban is smart, because Ozo, as you said, got buffed indirectly with Aftershock. And also, with Lyra, his healing is really immense. So if you let the Ozo through to be mainly last picked, as a counter, Ozo does well against Kestrel at diving in. That would be slightly annoying for Elite 8 to try and contend with. And so the last pick for Elite 8, they've got quite a few options. Rhyme still on the table. No one's banned him away. Cruel could be picked up by J3X to try and counter it. But Kestrel Rhyme is a combo we've seen work before. It works well. And with an Ardent, it's going to be so hard to kill that Kestrel. And it's always hard to kill Rhyme.
Yep, Rhyme would be a very good pick coming into this game. Although you're a melee mate, you can quite zone the enemies out with those Winter Spires. And we do see a Rhyme coming through from the side of Elite 8. Rhyme is a very strong hero now, because he has always had the early game. Right? He's so very strong in the early game compared to many weapon heroes, or rather jungling heroes out there. But if you do consider, a Sky can be easily picked up by the side of J3X Inferno to try counter this Rhyme. And with a Bright Bulwark, the slow, and of course the Imperial Studio that allows Sky to just reposition herself, it will be quite difficult for Rhyme to catch up. But the side of J3X Inferno will go for that Scarf.
Yeah, I've seen Scarf work quite well against Rhyme in Vainglory recently. I think that it's hard to play Scarf well, because if you get jumped on as Rhyme, if Rhyme jumps on you, sorry, then you're dead. Pretty much have zero escape except from boots, but Rhyme can just boots to keep up with you. Land the root, you're in a lot of trouble. You've only got a goop to try and slow his path towards you, which probably can be blocked. So I think, but if Scarf does manage to keep her range, spit fire from as max range as possible, she'll be pretty good in a pretty good position to just outpoke the Rhyme, probably be able to outpoke the Kestrel as well. And if Kestrel gets a bit close, you know Vox is going to jump on you. Vox will try and 1v1 you, dodge those Glimmer shots with his Sonic Zoom, and they've got Lyra as well, so they've got a poke comp with Lyra, which is really strong for the side of J3X.
Yep, I want to say J3X Inferno's draft just looking so strong for the early game. Kestrel needs the Sorrow Blade, needs that level 6 infusion, the initial power spike. As for Vox, you really just need the Poison Shift to just sustain out against that of those Glimmer shots. And you have Scarf coming through from the side of J3X Inferno that can easily just tear and wear a tower down in the early game, which has quite been the the matter that we've been seeing, right? Just constantly going up into lane, try to push at first down and try your best to snowball. However, Elite 8, as we all know from their playstyle, they are equally very, very aggressive. And with a Rhyme in their team, we can see and we can expect to see very early aggression coming through from both teams.
Yeah, I agree that if Scarf does get onto that tier 1 turret, it's going to melt very quickly, especially given how weak the tier 1 turret has now become. Only 2,000 health as opposed to 3,000. So that tier 1 turret, if you give up an early game ace or early game couple of kills and Scarf is in the right position with the minion wave slightly pushed, that turret's going to fall really quickly. I do think that Kestrel has the early game advantage over Vox, but with the Lyra, Vox should easily be able to out-sustain the burst of the Glimmer shots. Kestrel gets a couple of poke, Vox just backs off, gets healed up, and then goes back in, which can work really well. Arden will be useful with the Vanguard, but it's only temporary. The heal is permanent until Kestrel does more damage. So it is going to be interesting to see how this exchange happens, whether the captains will stay in lane to keep their carries alive, or if they're forced to rotate down to the jungle because Ryan's being too aggressive into Scarf's jungle, or Scarf stealing away some of Ryan's jungle, depending on how the early game goes. That's going to be something to watch between these two teams.
Yep. We've had talks about Ryan going for that Aftershock build. So that's not very commonly seen, and I mean, we have not quite seen it yet, but you personally stand by it. You think Aftershock works very, very well on Rhyme. It gives the, the extra burst with the basic attack and the lower cooldowns for those Winter Spires and Chilled Winds as well. So do you reckon the side of Elite 8 will go for the Aftershock, or do you think we'll see an Aftershock Rhyme anytime soon?
Well, I think teams should think about it at least. Maybe not just play it without having tried it first. But Aftershock gives you 50% healing based on the damage you do with that proc. And Rhyme loves healing. He loves sustain. He's always going to basic attack because he wants to get in melee range. He wants to basic attack so he gets his Frost Guard to Winter Spires do more damage. Once he uses his Chill Winds, he's going to do the basic attack most likely. So I don't think it has to be picked up, but given how strong it is and how it can work with Rhyme, I think teams should consider it. Try it out in a couple of ranked games, try it out in some scrims, see how it works out, and then maybe bring it to this weekend. But against the double squishy comp, I don't think it's necessary. I think Rhyme can just go Shatterglass into Journey Boots, go for those massive damage Winter Spires, and then if he gets on top of them, just try and burst them down with as much damage as possible.
That is definitely the thing that, rather the path I see this Rhyme going through, that Shatterglass into the Journey Boots, and afterwards the Eve of Harvest. Although we saw one or two Dragon's Eye Rhyme coming through, and it makes perfect sense because Rhyme can just stay in there for such a long time because of the Frost Guard, the fortified health that he receives. But it's just not enough for the initial burst of damage for that extra fortified health as compared to Shatterglass, because Rhyme has to stay in there for about 4 seconds or so just to get the similar amount of damage as compared to the Shatterglass. So I think the Rhyme would still go for that very meta. I don't want to say boring, but it's kind of boring because we have seen a lot of Rhyme running around, and a lot of Rhyme just settles for that Shatterglass into Boots, into Journey Boots, into Eve of Harvest, just stay there for a very, very long time. And if the Rhyme wants, probably that Broken Myth as well, just to end off the build and just go tankier War Threads, maybe an Atlas Pauldron or a Metal Jacket, and then you have that Aegis thrown in there as well. But, enough about the Rhyme. Let's just quickly talk about this Scarf. So what can this Scarf do besides the early game? So the Scarf has to constantly go up to lane, try to pressure Castro out of this lane, but then, Scarf just do not do well in the jungle compared to a Rhyme.
Yeah, what Scarf needs to do is she needs to avoid Rhyme for as long as possible. If Scarf can get all of her jungle until 4 minutes happens, then Scarf's going to be in a fine position. Rhyme won't be able to snowball her from there because he can only grab away her mid-healing camp and her front camps. Apart from that, nothing else that he can do. He can only rotate to the backs if Scarf dies or Scarf is far too aggressive in lane, and then Rhyme can try and take the sentry out, try and take some jungle. So if Scarf can just survive for a bit, maybe do counter jungling to even the playing field up instead of trying to just 1 versus 1 Rhyme in her own jungle, which is not going to go well for the Scarf, then it could be really good for J3X. But Elite 8 needs to be aggressive in that jungle. Kestrel needs to stop Vox from being able to rotate, and so that Rhyme can have some free reign against Scarf in the early game. But yeah, down to execution. I agree with you. I think J3X's draft is slightly better. I think they have an easier comp to pull off, especially given how most games are going later on. We've seen a lot of games go not being won before Kraken spawns, or not being won with 1 Kraken. It normally takes 2 or 3, which does benefit Scarf and the Vox and Lyra. But we are now loading into the house to unfold for the first game. Let us know which team you think is going to win in the chat. It's going to be a good one, Luxuria.
It will be a good one. Like you mentioned, it is down to execution, and Elite 8 hasn't quite been playing at tip-top form so far. So I'm quite interested to see, because Elite 8 currently is sitting in the 4th seed with 14 points, and you have J3X Inferno at 4. So if J3X Inferno do win this, they will not be, you know, catapult into the 4th position in the point standings chart, but at least it's quite a showing that J3X Inferno, they have got what it takes to just take down one of the giants of Vainglory 8 Southeast Asia. So coming into this, we are seeing very, you know, safe rotations throughout from Elite 8 and even J3X Inferno, but J3X Inferno definitely 3-man going through that jungle, and the first fight might just happen around this Elder Treant.
Yep, level 2s for Official High, and Hunyega's not on baby now. He's so level 2s on all the carries and junglers, just fighting over this Elder. Rhyme probably wants to start attacking it so that he gets the forward health, and it is secured by Hunyega's on the Kestrel. Now Official High just going to backport. He did get hit by the Scarf Spitfire, so it's going to take a bit of time. But no one really wants to go too aggressive. Official High didn't get the heal, so he can't go into Scarf jungle. And Hunyega's happy, get that, rotate up to lane, and now it is looking like we're going to see very lane focus from both these teams, which, as we've said, benefits J3X Inferno more than Elite 8.
Yep, definitely benefit J3X Inferno more. Firstly, Scarf can just easily rotate up to lane, but we all know how slow Vox clears the lane as compared to a Castro. As you see now, Hunyega's already completed with that 2 waves through, and now can just easily rotate down if need be, or just push this wave out against Bim on this Vox. And I want to say that they are farming relatively well. A lot of poke coming through from Anime Save Me and onto Anime Save Me as well. Baby now rotating up the lane, but they will just back for the Elder Treant, which currently taken by Official High.
Yeah, but it's stolen away by J3X Inferno. All 3 members are waiting to fight, baby. Did manage to get that healing buff, so Official High not going to try and contest, just going to back off again. And this passive scaling game that it looks like Elite 8 are playing has to benefit J3X Inferno. Scarf will happily go back to her jungle, secure another rotation. Rhyme's not invading, Rhyme's not trying to be too aggressive. Kestrel's just farming the wave, pushing it as hard as she can, which will be pretty simple against this Lyra, because if Lyra uses aggressive heals, then Kestrel's just going to go out and try and kill Vox. So Lyra has to save those heals, which means Kestrel can farm up pretty safely. Bim and Hunyega's both farming as expected. Hunyega's maybe missing a couple that he shouldn't have missed, but early game Kestrel can be a bit difficult, especially when you're trying to not get poked and poke out. But Anime Saving knows Vox isn't here. Let's push this wave up. Elder Treant started up by no one. Scarf, Rhyme does know Scarf is there. Rhyme knows Scarf is there, and Scout Trap's been blocked by Official High. Nice dodge on the Spitfire. He's going to try and get some poke out, and Official High will start up this Treant, but Scarf lifting up the lane. No, she's going to come back. She's going to try and steal it away with the Spitfire. Official High is going to probably body block. That would be a smart idea, but no, he lets Scarf get the Spitfire through, but it does not hit. Official High does body block, so that will be easily taken to him. Gold is dead even, despite a little bit of CS lead from Bim, but it's really nothing at this point. Official High was spotted out in lane, but J3X Inferno are going to rotate down to the backs, and now Elite 8 looking to push this wave. That tier 1 turret got down to half health because Bim ported home when Hunyega stayed in lane. The Bim has got the poison shiv, whereas Kestrel hasn't got the soul blade. That's the point you were talking about when Vox is better than Kestrel, but there looks like Elite 8 going for aggressive. Nope, Elite 8 just going to back off. I don't think anything's really going to happen.
Yep, I don't think Baby on this Scarf is able and will be able to push this lane out as well. We are into the 4th minute of the game. They will all just head down into the jungle to try to collect some items or 2. And we now see Bright Ball being used just to stop Anime Save Me from coming through that lane, being pushed out by Bim, but Castro very easy to farm under turret, so not much of an issue. And I'm expecting a little more aggression coming through from both teams, right? When I say both teams, I mean Official High in that jungle, but constantly he just gets so low in a 1v1 trade-off with Baby, and Bim, or rather Baby, just do not and have not been coming up to lane to put on much pressure. Now that Hunyega's build really stunning out, you know, the time needed to pick up the Sorrow Blade. As we mentioned, it is the first and initial power spike of Castro by going for 2 minions food. But what do you think about this, Minimizer?
Official High, and he does not sentry. He's got to do one more Winter Spire in order to get it, and he's going to probably die. Can be used by Kalua to try and save the sentry, but it's not enough. Alfie comes down, does land the stun on Baby. Official High and going to get the Vanguard and able to back away, so nice 150 gold to him, and 1 sentry already defeated 5 minutes in. You said you wanted aggression. Scarf went to lane to try and put her aggression out, but Rhyme went to jungle, took the took the sentry down. And one thing that Kahlua and Baby did really well is they boosted Scarf with that Imperial Sigil, got her as quickly as they could to the Crystal Sentry. Kahlua tried to get a candy on it, but was a little bit late. It was already dead, basically dead by the time she managed to get any candies. Kestrel was at the back, so this will be 3 damage on the turret for J3X Inferno. That's something that's even bigger in this patch, is if you let your enemy get to your tier 1 turret, it's going to fall very low. And Scarf wanted to get a Spitfire Goop combo, but only gets the Spitfire on it. And Jaeger's still without the Sword Blade, can afford to go if he gets the shot, but it looks like a fight might be breaking out. Official Hind up to lane, only level 7, but he is above Baby, who's at level 6 because of that Crystal Sentry defeated. And now he could look to rotate to the jungle. He hasn't respawned yet. Will quite soon. One shot, gonna just barely miss onto Baby. He has, Jaeger's has now picked up a Solar Blade, and probably a bit more damage going to be picked up. And now Official Hind going to rotate up to lane. He's not going to go for that sentry a second time. Maybe not try and do the same trick twice.
Yep, probably not, or maybe yes. All 3 members of J3X Inferno will head up into lane, as with Elite 8 as well. With the Spire do land on.
Yep, he's trying to get that basic attack onto Vox, does get it, and gets the root. Loads of damage on Nami. Forces the Healing Flask, doesn't force the Fountain, and so that is still available for J3X and for Elite 8. That's going to be Kestrel going in aggressive onto Nibin. One more Glimmer Shot would be enough. One shot, one kill is not available. It was used a little bit earlier on, so Nibin is safe to try and farm this way, but that's the turret going to go down, and now the Fountain used by J3X. There's Scott with the Spitfire, so with the Dragon's Breath coming through, trying to do as much work as he can, but that's going to be a nice route. But will he fall? Yes, he will. Fountain not enough to save him. Nice damage from Kestrel on the Glimmer Shot. The first blood did go over to J3X. Spitfire does not quite connect. Now J3X lose their turret. One shot hits onto Kahlua, but this second turret, this tier 1 turret on the side of Elite 8 is definitely going to go down. I remember him trying to get some damage onto Kestrel, but Vanguard comes through, going to keep her alive. Kalua's a little bit low, but the Imperial Sigil is up again now, so he's going to run away. And Elite 8 and J3X trade a turret, but J3X get the kill, so they're 400, 500 gold ahead. As Baby wants to get this Trin, does get it. Now Official Hind could look to fight, but Baby got a healing buff. Actually, Official Hind did infuse, and he popped it, so only got tier 1 boots, but got Shatter Glass and Infusion. So I think that Elite 8 are going to look to try and fight once again. Maybe try and start this gold mine up.
Yep, the gold mine route makes most sense, but that fight, just Official Hind just turning backwards, try to get the root onto Scarf, while Scarf is channeling or is using those Dragon's Breath. I don't think that was a smart choice, because had Official Hind just backed off then, could have possibly just saved the tier 1 turret. But like you mentioned, as long as the enemies can get on top, and they are very relentless with taking of this tier 1 turret, it will be very, very difficult. But Baby putting so much damage down onto Official Hind.
Yeah, Official Hind got tier 1 defense, so it won't hurt that much, but it still is something to worry about. Baby got an infusion to counter what Official Hind picked up. One shot does land onto Baby. Not too much worry. The sigil is up in 1 second if needed, and there's it going to be. Just put Baby back to full health. So it's interesting that Scarf's looking like he's going for Shatterglass into Clockwork, which Clockwork is a really good item on Scarf, because a Spitfire lands about every 2 or 3 seconds, and Clockwork's ability cooldown resets every 2 seconds. So almost every Spitfire you're going to do will lower the cooldown of your Goop and your Dragon's Breath if they are on cooldown. Kestrel laying a trap, but was spotted out. We're going to do a little bit of poke protect contract used by Arden and the Vanguard. This could be a time for J3X to fight. They're just going to try and poke with Scarf much as they can. That's a lovely Glimmer Shot. Sniping out her Jaegers, forcing the Healing Flask. He's going to try another one, but Kestrel dodged it with the active camo. Now Bim getting some poke on to the Rhyme. Got a breaking point as well, which is really good against Official Hind. Try and build up stacks before he goes to Kestrel. Kestrel going to go in aggressive. There's the Gauntlet, and that is Baby stuck in the Gauntlet, but he's not going to get hit by the Glimmer Shots. Valkyrie comes down a little bit wide, but is enough to pick up the box, stopping him from his retreat. Galua going to boot away. Kestrel going to come in, but has not got much energy for those Glimmer Shots. There's going to be one hitting onto Baby for 400 damage. Official Hind trying to get a bit more work done, but unable to do so. One shot going to connect, but he's going to survive. Baby going to get that heal just now from Kahlua, and I think Official Hind will start this gold mine. It is spotted. Kalua's got a nice scout trap on it, and I don't think it'll be popped by Elite 8. They're not looking like they're going to. And so unless we see a scout trap steal, or Lyra knows where it is, she's going to flare it out as a bait. Scout trap does steal the gold mine. Kahlua, I don't think that was a sigil. I think that was the scout trap. He gets the steal, and J3X now 1.5k gold ahead, despite losing that team fight.
I don't know, because that's still coming through. I was expecting it to be Lyra. I mean, Lyra has has always been the queen of all steals, right? Your Imperial Sigil, whenever you pop it, it deals quite an amount of damage, especially if you can time it right. You can work a steal out. And Elite 8 should have had vision across the map, but that is just not so. Coming through from Anime Save Me, he has got flares here and there, but he only flares out brushes. He's not putting any form of vision, scout trap, like permanent vision on the fold itself, and basically just not offering the side of themselves, or rather Elite 8, any form of a solid vision. Even now, Hanjager walking into the brush, there's a scout trap spotting him out, and he will have to active camo away. But a lot of aggression coming through in lane, although it might not look like it, coming through from the scoreboard, the kill score from the teams right now. We are sitting at 1:1, but definitely a lot of aggression. Hanjager now.
A lot of aggression, yeah. Hanjager's going on to Baby. Baby does dodge the gauntlet, and that is a schedule going to go down to the Scarf. And now Dragon's Breath going to come through. Official Hind is the next target. Valkyrie is not quite going to stun up Baby, just gets the slow. Official Hind going to go very low. He's going to get the fountain. It will be enough with the Vanguard, and Official Hind does survive. Nababim takes a couple of turret shots for his troubles. Blue are going to be the next focus of that turret. Tier 2 turret, looking like it's going to go down to J3X Inferno. Kalua's not going to, just going to get tickled by the damage, and now J3X is going to back off, get a sigil and group together, run away. A good fight for them. Hunyega's has gone completely glass cannon, so late into double timings already, but he hasn't got any defense. So even though Baby went low, I think Baby used the block, managed to get one more basic attack off than Kestrel could, did get the kill, and Scarf now got Clockwork. That's really going to help get more goops down. Maybe we'll get that Dragon's Breath up a little bit quicker and just get those Spitfires so much more in these team fights, which will really help against Kestrel, who's dealing loads of bursts with those Glimmer shots, but it's not quite enough in that fight.
Yep, in that 1v1 itself, you definitely did see Lyra, or rather Kalua on that. Lyra just making full use and capitalizing on the fact that Hanjager was taken low. And if Baby do retreat, there is a bright bulwark that is placed down just to stop that retreat or stop that advancement coming through from Elite 8. As well as a bright bulwark definitely did try to stop.
Yeah, but as you said, being used there. Wait for it, used by Vox. Attack Atlas was used onto Vox. Goldmine is the target for both these teams. It's going to be secured by the Kestrel with the Glimmer Shot. And now Nababim wants to go in as Kestrel with the two active cover traps. He's going to boot through them and block them. But Kestrel going to get that Vanguard, going to go towards the Crystal Sentry. Scarf on the back line. He's going to get the Glimmer Shot. Can he get the goop? Not. So he's going to get the Spitfire. Not quite going to get the goop there, Baby. Blocking the chill winds from Rhyme. Not going to get rooted up. And that's the screen secured by the Scarf. Valkyrie comes down. Not quite going to get a stun. J3X Inferno also low. There's a fantastic gauntlet. Scarf didn't wait for the Arcane Passage, walked into the wall. Kalu is the last man standing, has got a metal jacket, so won't die to Kestrel anytime soon. Imperial will try and steal that tree away, unable to do so. Second Sentry going to be taken by Elite 8, 13 minutes in, and probably the backs as well. So really good fight. But Jaeger's not being focused and dealing so much damage on that Kestrel.
Yep, what happened then really was Nababim just caught out of position and dove a little too deep for Hanjager and Official Hind, although he lacked the energy to do so. So that maybe J3X Inferno has to rethink the strategy coming into any more team fights, because if Nababim constantly do that, we all know Nababim's history. He was a jungler, he likes to play the Tarka, so it kind of explains why he likes to play in that manner, but there is not much of follow-up coming through from the entirety of J3X Inferno, so that kind of hurt them there. But you know, Elite 8 definitely still couldn't push that second tier turret anyways.
Speaking of Elite 8, they're taking a lot of damage. Scarf going to go with the Dragon's Breath. Hunyega's so low on energy. Valkyrie comes down, but he's not going to do anything. Atlas onto Scarf. That's not what you wanted. You wanted it on the Vox. Sentry's trying to be the MVP. It will be taken out by J3X. One thing I want to point out there is the tier 2 turret went down for J3X Inferno. Kestrel, so it didn't go down. The tier 2 turret was focused by Kestrel. A couple of Glimmer shots and a one-shot, one kill was also used. That one shot showed Kalua exactly where Kestrel was. Kalua's got higher tier boots than Kestrel, and so Kalua chased down Kestrel, forced him to walk all the way back to his tier 3 turret with 0 energy, which then led to J3X being able to take away a sentry, get a lot of damage, I think get a kill as well. And so that was really well played from Kalua. He didn't let Kestrel port home in a bush, he followed him, chased him back, and then let J3X get the advantage in that team fight. Now Goldmine could be started up by either team. They are both at this mid, waiting for it. Infusion popped, and Ryan face checking the bush. That's not what you want to be. He's getting healed up by his just passive, and that's going to be so much damage from the Kestrel. Going to get the box down. Fountain is up for Arden in the seconds, but they may not even need it. Baby is going to be the next target. They're going to leave Kalua alone. Baby's going to try and run, but that's nothing. 300 at 598 crit. And Jaeger's going to eliminate that sentry 15 minutes in. And hello, Kraken spawned at a perfect time for Elite 8. Disastrous for J3X.
Disastrous, but let's see if Kalua can come in for another clutch steal. But we now see, although the late game do favor Baby on that Scarf, but the damage output and the amount of sustain that Scarf has is just not enough.
Oh dear. Kalua could be in a bit of trouble. He tried to steal the Kraken with an Imperial Sigil, which means that's not ready for him yet. Glimmer shot, not going to be enough. One shot, one kill was available. It won't finish off Kalua. Kalua does want to go back to the base because he's very low, but has got a Sigil, so probably going to stay here, try and defend this Kraken. He doesn't need to be healthy, his carries do. Going to use one Sigil to keep himself back up to about full. Kestrel is going to be caught out, is snared, but that's not a problem. Wait for it, that comes through and hits Kestrel, but she's still going to be able to basic attack through that silence. And Elite 8 looking to try and get more than 2 turrets, and J3X trying to keep this Kraken pushed down as little as they can. And they're going to probably let this Tier 2 turret go. They're too low on energy to try and defend it. Kestrel going to glimmer shot that turret. Now Elite 8, what's the call? Do they go in? Gauntlet is up in 12 seconds for Arden, but no, they let 2 turrets go down. J3X going to be pretty happy with that, and so will Elite 8. They're going to back off.
Yep, they will be backing off, cracking open the base of J3X Inferno. J3X Inferno at this point in time really needs to work on their positioning in team fights, because more often than not, Bim was just up front. And just looking at the team comp itself, we all know J3X Inferno do not have like an Arden or a Ram that can just stand in front, soak up as much damage, and you just allow your backline to do damage, right? Bim do not quite have that capability. Yes, you have the 8% life still coming through from your poison shift, but it's just not enough for you to sustain. Yes, you have Kalua with those Imperial Sigil, but that's not enough as well, considering the burst coming through from the side of Elite 8. Elite 8, if they just picked a hero that is just very high sustained damage like that of Ringo, then maybe it would have worked. But then with a Rhyme and a Castro, nah, it's not going to work. They have to rethink their strategy. They cannot just pot in with an Arcane Passage, with a Bright Bulwark, or they cannot have Bim just staying up front and take so much damage even before the full team fights breaks out.
Yeah, they've got a Lyra. They don't use that Lyra aggressively. They use it for poke. They heal themselves up for every trade they take. Baby gets the poke. Bim just waits for Scarf to get a good poke, and once Elite 8 go a bit too aggressive, Rhyme has had enough of Scarf poking him out and just goes aggressive. That's when you use your Vox, build up those breaking point stacks, then turn on to Kestrel, and that's a pretty easy fight for J3X to win. But they have to execute it properly. Vox 4 damage items, same as Kestrel. Scarf has got 2 and can afford the Dragon's Eye when he goes back to base with another 20 gold. So that's really big for Baby. If he decides to get that, we're going to see it. Yeah, he's waited. He's going to get Dragon's Eye. So that's really helpful for this Scarf to ramp up. If Scarf does survive in these fights, Kalua could be in trouble if Official Hein cuts this off. Is he going to do so? He's going to be a Sigil, and Official Hein will not cut Kalua off. He's able to get back to his team. That could have been really good for Elite 8 if they knew where Lyra was. And Official Hein, yep, going to get the backs, but I don't think that makes a difference at this point. It's all about these team fights. The gold is negligible. The gold difference between these two teams, dead even, plus or minus about 300 gold. Kraken is ready, but I think J3X are going to be able to contest this one. No wave versus no wave for the captains. So it's all about fast fingers. Who can no wave who first? And it looks like Kalua is going to start the engage. So is he going to come through? That would mean a fight. Gauntlet comes down, and who's going to go first? The captains. It's going to be Echo on the Gauntlet from Arden. Kalua stuck inside, and the second Gauntlet is available. 797 crit onto Baby. He's forced to back very far away. Now Elite 8 looking to go, and they still got Gauntlet. There's going to be the second one. Double stun from the Arden. The Bulwark's not enough, and no one comes through first from the Lyra. But that means Arden's now got his available. He didn't need to leave anything, and the Kestrel gets the kill onto the Scarf. Now will be the next target. Trying to come through fast, the Valkyrie. Arden gets the kill somehow onto the Vox, and Lyra's going to be left standing. I know I said he did end up using his null wave himself, and that is going to be the tier 2 turret focus. Elite 8 don't want the Kraken, they just want the game, and I think they're going to get it.
They can definitely just hand the game right now. Elite 8 definitely looking very strong. Although in the early game we did see some rockiness, and they were just rocking back and forth, quite unsure as to what they would like to do. We saw, the gold mine being stolen, but the second one secured by themselves. But coming into this late game, they kind of knew. They knew that Baby on this Scarf will be so strong. But it is just not down to the good plays coming through from Elite 8. I want to blame it more on the positioning coming through from J3X Inferno. A lot of times we do see Bim just put up in front, just took up so much